Do you understand my concept of the meme war at this point?
I really don't, because and this was something I was thinking about as I was watching it today, right? Because I understand that, like, you know, when people talk about memes, like just in kind of a colloquial sense, we're talking about kind of like shitty MS Paint JPEGs that people like share and have different like goofy characters, and they're just like little cartoons that sort of sum up people's feelings about this, that, or the other thing. And sometimes they get very convoluted in their sort of symbology. And I've been very critical of this. This is something I often like fight with JReg about, is, you know, that the you know, the sort of cinematic universe of all of these meme characters in the sort of the JPEG cartoon sense of the word gets a little obnoxious and annoying and kind of sort of self-congratulatory and you know, incestuous and all the rest of it. So like that's memes on one sense, but then there's also the sense of like memes in the kind of, what is it? Is it the Jungian sense or
Richard Dawkins? Although there is a Jungian connection there.
I mean, like Dawkins, it's a concept. Yeah, I mean, it's a concept that goes, I'm sure, back ages. I mean, it's the word meme literally in that sense. And in this,
well, no, the word meme came from Richard Dawkins in The Selfish Gene, which was like the 70s or 80s. I don't think so. No.
Well,
go ahead.
If that's the case. But in any case, so like there is a concept of the idea of meme that has a sort of like higher pretension, in which you're just kind of talking sort of broadly about things that are like within the culture in this moment, and like just concepts and ideas and sort of frames of reference and all that, right? And so like in that sort of sense, like, I don't know, like, would you sort of say that, like, say conservatism is like a meme, right? Like conservatism is like a thing that exists in the culture that we refer to and make reference to, and it didn't always exist, but now it's kind of, and sort of like communism is a meme as well.
Communism is a meme. Conservatism is more of an orientation.
But I mean, like, hold on, but it's like a meme in the sense that like these are kind of shorthands for concepts that sort of exist in the culture, right? Like that is kind of like my understanding of a sort of Dawkinsite understanding of the word, right? Whereas when we're talking about, and this is where the fundamental problem comes in.
Hey, listen, JJ.
Yeah.
None of this. Okay, we're gonna get. All right. Well, I forgot we're recording. I'll just cut this out. Okay, we're good. Sorry, go ahead.
But see, like where I think, and this is sort of illustrates the difficulties of language when sort of synonyms are flying around, right? On the one hand, when you say something is a meme and you're sort of like referring to it in kind of the JPEG sense of the word, it implies that something is like a joke or silly or frivolous or goofy.
True.
Right? Like
that is the common understanding of the word meme. Yes.
Yeah. And so the problem with language, and why I think that your videos are sometimes confusing, is that in this kind of like, in your generation's kind of like irony-pilled way of sort of perceiving the world, sometimes you'll be referring to something as a meme, and like, I don't know if you're like meaning that this is like an important concept, this is a joke, this is something that's becoming so preposterous that it's turning into a joke, and we should view it with sort of contempt and mockery, or if you're sort of saying like this is a substantial thing that exists in the moment of the present, and that has to, and then so when you're talking about like mimetic warfare, it's like, I don't know if you're talking about that in a kind of like goofy Elon Musk kind of way, where it's like if we post enough like Pepe images, then somehow that's like sort of winning the election, and like the whole discourse about it is so convoluted to me. But it's in part because there are people like you that are trying to, I think, use the word meme in a kind of more academic sense, but then it gets so muddled in with the JPEG sense that I don't know what's being referred to anymore.
I like that dichotomy, the academic sense and the JPEG sense. I am working on a video called Archetypal Memetics, or either Archetypal Memes, and I'm going to walk through. Did I send you CJ the X's video on this? The critically analyzing memes?
Yeah,
that's videos.
You did, and I remember watching it, and I'm trying to remember exactly what they had to say in it.
He walks through it, and it's a good explanation overall. Well, let me give you my thesis, okay, and I'll explain to you why I use the meme war terminology. We're in a war of ideas, okay, broadly. That war of ideas is called, I call it the meme war, for two reasons. Number one, that's obviously a term that's already out there, and I'm big on co-opting terms that are already out there. Okay, enlightened centrism being one of them. But the second reason is because it is technically that, and it is in the Richard Dawkins mimetic sense. An idea, a concept, is a meme. If an idea can be transmitted from one person to another, it's a meme.
Yeah.
Now, the reason it's useful to think about it that way is because meme theory, what a gene is to genetics and biological life or biological structures, a meme is to memetics and cultural structures. And the reason it's useful to talk about it in terms of meme is because we can use our understanding of genes to then help us understand how memes propagate. And we can talk about memetic fitness, you know, using obviously the metaphor of genetic fitness, right? Like, you know what genetic fitness is when it comes to evolution.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know, if a fucking shark has two hearts that make him swim faster, he has more genetic fitness. Okay. Well, then we can talk about the memetic fitness of different ideas and how they spread. What are the properties of memes that spread quickly versus don't? And then that information gets used we can identify the rules of the meme war, right? There are rules of war, right? Like regular war, like don't stretch your supply lines too thin, never invade Russia in the winter, etc. Right?
Yes.
I think using this framework, we can identify rules of the meme war.
Yeah.
A certain major left-wing video essayist, I won't say who, but I'm sure everyone watching and you would know. I'll tell you afterwards. But we can identify rules of the meme war and say, well, why are certain ideas spreading? Yeah. And that's my interest in it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you describe it like that, it makes perfect sense. But I just kind of feel like the word meme has been so corrupted by the sort of the JPEG phenomenon that when you talk about meme wars and all of that, it really just, like I said before, like it sounds like you're being Elon Musk and you're sort of saying like, if we just spam, you know, Twitter with enough JPEGs portraying, you know, the other side as morons or whatever, then that's how you sort of like.
Well, but in some sense that is like, like most people vote not on policy, but on vibes, and memes they speak directly to vibes.
Well, I mean, but again, like the JPEG memes are part of that. But like, if you're talking about memes in terms of like ideas, then I think like it's more useful to just say ideas, because I think we say like, you know, if there's a war for there's a war of ideas.
Yeah.
I think it's becoming a little bit less significant though than, and this might be another sort of point of contention I have with you. I think that certainly like the political world feels like it's never been less about ideas than it is now. But the point is like, if you're going to talk about like a meme war in that sense, I feel like it's more clarifying to just talk about it as a ideas war, an ideological war, or a battle of ideas, a battle of philosophy, a battle of ideology, than to use this term meme that I feel like has been corrupted by something that is just very sort of superficial in nature. And the vast majority of people are not even aware of memes as JPEGs at all. Like, you know, our parents wouldn't think in terms of.
No, I think first off, my 70-year-old father is on Twitter more than I am these days. So yeah. My
father thinks that memes means celebrity. And so he often uses it in a very like strange way. Like he refers to like, oh, that Joe Rogan, he's a real meme.
He's a real meme. Well, he is in some sense. Yeah, but to your point, like maybe arguably winning the meme war involves spamming memes that portray a certain. And I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm saying this is how people think, for better or worse.
But it's one of like many ways in how people think. I mean, yeah, some people are influenced by like cartoon JPEGs. Some people are influenced by viral clips. You know, some people are introduced by, you know, fake news or viral tweets. Like we live in a world where we're being subjected to all sorts of information and pseudo information and media of all sorts and flavors. And there are some people that like these JPEGs, somebody like Elon Musk, who thinks they're the funniest thing in the world. And thus, I think, tends to inflate their overall relevance in terms of what form of media changes the most minds and all of that. But, you know, I agree with the conceit that we are in. I mean, obviously, we're living in a very polarized time, and that there are different sort of factions of the culture that are fighting for influence and all of that relative to one another. And I mean, I guess that was kind of like what your recent video was about sort of like the idea that there's I don't know,
a civil meme war on the religious right.
Yeah,
which is true.
But it's like, I mean, it's like, at best, it's like it's an ideas war or an ideological war or something, like a meme war.
Well, I guess we can. Yeah, I'm less interested in I take your point. Like I could be using the term in a way that is undermining my own goals in terms of getting the point that I'm trying to make across.
But I mean, I would even go further though. I mean, like, because I dispute, as I alluded to earlier, like I just think that ideas have never really been less relevant in our current political moment.